1975 was supposed to belong to polished hits and serious music. Instead, something completely unexpected took over. Joke songs, gimmicks, spoken chaos that made no sense on paper. And yet these tracks did not just survive. They conquered charts across the world. Each one broke the rules in its own strange way. This is the year where absurdity became unstoppable and the weirdest ideas turned into global success stories. Number 12, Mr. Jaws by Dicky Goodman.
How sweet it is. Mr. Jaws, before you swim out.
Goodman. Some joke songs are strange because of the lyrics. This one is strange because it barely behaves like a song at all. Mr. Jaws arrived in 1975, right when Jaws had made everyone afraid of the ocean, and Dicky Goodman turned that fear into a fake news interview with a shark. The setup is completely absurd. Goodman plays the reporter, asking dramatic questions, while the answers come from quick clips of popular songs. It feels like radio comedy, movie parody, and chart music all smashed together into one ridiculous little record. And somehow, it worked. The timing was perfect. Audiences already had Jaws fever, and this song gave them a way to laugh at the panic. It was silly, weird, and impossible to forget. Mr. Jaws became a huge novelty hit, proving that even a fake shark interview could take over the world. Number 11, Kung Fu, Fighting by Carl Douglas.
From the hit, everybody was kung fu fighting.
At first listen, it feels like a serious song. Then the exaggeration kicks in. The high-pitched vocal delivery, the theatrical sound effects, the almost cartoonish energy that leans into the global martial arts craze of the time. This was not subtle. It was spectacle. A parody wrapped inside a perfectly produced pop record. The genius of this track is how it walks a dangerous line. It never fully declares itself as a joke. Instead, it exaggerates reality just enough to feel playful. That ambiguity is what made it powerful. Audiences could laugh at it or dance to it, or both at the same time. And they did. The song exploded worldwide and became one of the most recognizable hits of the decade. In a different era, this might have been dismissed as a gimmick. In 1975, it became unstoppable. A strange reminder that sometimes the most ridiculous ideas are the easiest to embrace. Number 10, Shaving Cream by Benny Bell. This one feels like it slipped through a loophole in history. Originally recorded decades earlier, it should have stayed buried. Instead, it came roaring back into the charts in 1975, confusing an entire generation. The joke is simple, almost too simple. Each verse builds toward what sounds like an inappropriate punchline, only to swerve at the last second into the phrase shaving cream. It is repetitive, predictable, and somehow impossible to turn off. What makes this fascinating is not just the humor, it is the reaction. Radio stations played it, audiences debated it. Some laughed, others were irritated, but nobody ignored it. That is the key to every song on this list. They demand attention even when they shouldn't. This was not a polished hit. It was a relic, a throwback joke resurrected in the wrong era and somehow becoming exactly what that era wanted. Number 9, Bertha Butt Boogie by the Jimmy Castor Bunch. Some songs make you dance. This one makes you stare in disbelief first, then laugh, then somehow still dance. That is the strange magic at play here. It tells the story of an outrageous, larger-than-life character in a way that feels exaggerated almost to the point of parody. Yet the groove underneath never lets go. The track builds like a live performance. You hear reactions. You feel the crowd energy. It creates a sense that something ridiculous is happening right in front of you. That illusion pulls listeners in deeper than a traditional pop song ever could. It is not just music. It is an event. What makes it truly align with this list is the contrast. The humor is bold. The storytelling is absurd. But the funk is serious. That combination should clash. Instead, it connects. Audiences came for the joke, but stayed for the rhythm. This was not supposed to be a global success. It was too strange, too character-driven, too theatrical. Yet it proved that if the foundation is strong enough, even the weirdest story can turn into a hit that refuses to be ignored. Number 8, The Bump by Kenny. Sometimes a hit song is not built on lyrics or meaning. Sometimes it is built on a moment, a trend, a movement that spreads so quickly it almost feels accidental. This song captured exactly that kind of moment and locked it into a simple, unstoppable hook. The concept is almost comically minimal, a dance where people literally bump into each other. That is it. No deep message, no emotional weight, just a physical action turned into a shared experience. And somehow that simplicity became its greatest strength. The production leans into repetition. It does not try to evolve. It does not try to impress. It just keeps pushing the same idea until it becomes impossible to ignore. That is how gimmicks become global. Not by complexity, but by persistence. What makes this fit perfectly here is how disposable it should have been. Dance crazes come and go quickly. Most leave no trace. Yet this one exploded into charts and dominated attention while it lasted. It proves a strange truth. If people can move to it easily, they will forgive almost anything else. Number 7, If by Telly Savalas.
And when, my love?
This does not even try to be a traditional song. That is what makes it so fascinating. There is no soaring melody, no vocal performance in the usual sense. Instead, you get a calm, almost detached spoken delivery that feels closer to a monologue than music. And yet it worked. Not quietly, not modestly. It climbed to the top of the charts and stayed there long enough to confuse everyone who heard it. The question was always the same. How did this become a hit? The answer lies in its uniqueness. At a time when music was becoming bigger, louder, and more polished, this track went in the opposite direction. It stripped everything down and leaned into stillness. That contrast made it stand out instantly. There is also something unintentionally humorous about it. The seriousness of the delivery combined with the format creates a strange tension. It feels profound and absurd at the same time. This is the kind of song that should exist on the margins. Instead, it conquered the mainstream. A perfect example of how breaking every rule can sometimes be the only way to win. Number 6, Barbados by Typically Tropical. This song does not begin like a hit. It begins like an announcement. Calm, routine, almost forgettable. Then slowly, the illusion shifts. You realize this is not a real airline broadcast. It is a joke unfolding in real time. That framing is what makes it so effective. It builds a world before delivering the punchline. You are not just hearing music. You are inside a scenario. A tropical escape painted through exaggerated accents, playful narration, and a deliberately relaxed rhythm. The humor is light but persistent. It does not rely on one big moment. Instead, it spreads across the entire track, creating a mood that feels both ridiculous and strangely comforting. That balance is what made it so accessible. What truly defines it as one of the weirdest hits is how subtle the gimmick is compared to others. It does not shout for attention. It drifts into it. And somehow that quiet approach made it even more memorable. It should have been a niche novelty. Instead, it climbed to the top and stayed there, proving that even the softest joke can echo the loudest when the timing is perfect. Number 5, Whispering Grass by Windsor Davies and Don Estelle. This song feels like it should not exist in the same universe as the charts it conquered. One voice is impossibly deep. The other floats high above it in delicate contrast. On paper, it sounds like a mismatch. In execution, it becomes something unforgettable. The real hook is not the melody, it is the contrast itself. Every line creates a subtle tension between the two voices. It almost feels like a performance designed to make the listener smile rather than impress them. That intention makes it strangely addictive. What pushes it into novelty territory is the origin. These were not traditional recording artists chasing a hit. They were actors stepping into music almost playfully. That casual approach removed the pressure of perfection and replaced it with personality. There is also a layer of nostalgia built into the arrangement. It leans into an old-fashioned style that feels intentionally out of place. That contrast between past and present adds another dimension to its charm. It should have been a curiosity, a one-time experiment. Instead, it became a chart-topping success that proved audiences sometimes prefer character over precision. Number 4, Diivory by Billy Connelly.
Is acting QUE.
This song walks into dangerous territory and somehow turns it into comedy without losing its emotional core. It takes a deeply serious original concept and twists it just enough to create something unexpected. Not a parody that mocks, more like a reinterpretation that shifts perspective. The delivery is where everything changes. Instead of polished vocals, you get a conversational tone that feels spontaneous, almost improvised. That looseness creates humor in subtle ways. It is not forced. It emerges naturally from the performance. What makes it truly strange as a hit is how it balances tone. There is still a sense of sincerity underneath the humor. That duality keeps the listener engaged because it never becomes purely ridiculous or purely serious. It exists somewhere in between. This kind of track usually lives outside the mainstream, too unconventional for radio, too specific for mass appeal. Yet it broke through and reached the very top. It proves something rare. Audiences do not always need perfection. Sometimes they connect more with something that feels human, unpredictable, and slightly chaotic. Number 3, The Funky Gibbon by the Goodies. This is the moment where logic completely breaks down. A song about a gibbon, not metaphorical, not symbolic, literal. And yet it did not fade into obscurity. It climbed into the charts and became a cultural event. The track leans fully into absurdity, animal noises, exaggerated delivery, a structure that feels closer to a comedy sketch than a piece of music. It refuses to take itself seriously at any point. That is exactly why it worked. It offered something no other song dared to attempt. There is also a powerful visual element tied to it. Television performances amplified the chaos. The physical comedy translated directly into sound, which made the track feel alive even without the visuals. That crossover between media pushed it further than a standard novelty release. What makes it one of the weirdest hits is its complete lack of restraint. It does not try to disguise the joke, it celebrates it. Every second is committed to the bit. In most cases, that kind of approach limits reach. Here, it expanded it. Proof that sometimes the fastest way to connect with millions is to stop pretending and embrace the ridiculous completely. Number 2, Convoy by CW McCall. This does not sound like a hit song at first. It sounds like a conversation. Fragments of dialogue layered over a steady rhythm. Codes, slang, references that feel almost impenetrable if you are not part of that world. That is exactly what made it powerful. It created a sense of authenticity so strong that listeners felt like they were tuning into something real. A hidden network of voices moving across highways. That illusion turned a simple idea into an experience. The storytelling is relentless. It keeps building momentum without relying on a traditional chorus. Each line adds another piece to the narrative. That structure breaks every conventional rule of pop music, yet somehow feels more engaging because of it. There is also an element of mystery. For many listeners, the terminology was unfamiliar. Instead of pushing them away, it pulled them in. People wanted to understand it. That curiosity drove its popularity even further. This was not just a novelty, it was a phenomenon. A strange blend of realism and exaggeration that captured attention and refused to let go until it dominated everything around it. Number 1, The Streak by Ray Stevens. This is where everything comes together. The chaos, the timing, the absurdity. A song built on one of the strangest public trends imaginable somehow rose above everything else and took over completely. It does not ease you in. It throws you straight into confusion, urgent voices, interrupted broadcasts, a sense that something ridiculous is happening just out of sight. That structure pulls the listener into the joke rather than simply telling it. You are part of the moment. What makes it so effective is how seriously it presents the nonsense. The delivery never winks at the audience. It treats the situation like breaking news. That contrast between tone and subject creates a kind of humor that feels sharper and more memorable. There is also a deeper reason it worked. It captured a real cultural moment at exactly the right time. People were already aware of the trend. The song simply amplified it and gave it a soundtrack. This was not just a hit, it was the defining novelty explosion of its era. A reminder that sometimes the strangest idea delivered with complete confidence can become the biggest success of all. These songs broke rules and still won. No structure, no logic, just bold, strange ideas that refused to be ignored. And somehow they conquered the world. So ask yourself this: were these songs ridiculous accidents, or proof that audiences secretly crave chaos more than perfection?